Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Simple Stories Saturdays. And for this layout I'm using the Simple Stories range Simple Vintage Love Story. I've used this collection before, so I've had a bit of a sort out and I put lots of bits of ephemera in the tray. I got the large ephemera as well, so that piece there with the doily and the birds, that was from that set, and I want to actually get some of those used up. So the idea is I'm aiming to make 2 clusters across this paper, and the background paper there, that was one of the colour range that came, was also part of the Simple Vintage Love Story, so it coordinates perfectly with the pattern paper collection. So I'm just having a look at the pieces that I've got there and I'm layering them up. I want to get some of them out of the packet and into the album, so I'm just having a look. I've got a tag there on the right. I want to add a little bit of journaling, so I need some space for that, so that's there. I really like the cute typewriters. I think they're really nice. The stamps in this range, there's wax seals in this range, lots of lovely bits and pieces that I would like to use. So I'm just working through. I've still got quite a lot left, as you can see, and seeing what I could add to either cluster. Now this is my first look through. I don't get a chance to prep anything in advance before a video, so I may make some choices now that I change later on, but generally I take my time and I look at everything, and because I haven't got loads of time, generally these would be the choices that I make. If you haven't joined us before for Simple Stories Saturdays, let me explain a little more. Once a month, a group of scrapbookers across the world produce one layout using any Simple Stories collection that they have. So you'll find that if you hop around everybody, there is a lot of inspiration using a lot of collections, not necessarily ones that are particularly new, but the idea is we want to encourage you to get your layouts in your albums, and therefore we're providing you with inspiration to use up some of your Simple Stories collections. So I'd recommend you hop round the rest of the team because there's lots and lots of inspiration, and there's lots of back videos as well going over years, so do check that out. So I was quite happy-ish with the clusters, but I decided the background needed a bit more work. So this is a Bramble Fox cut stencil. It's called Hearts. It's got 2 sizes of hearts on it. It's number 14, and I'm just coming in there with a Distress Oxide. Now, if you look at the colour of the Distress Oxide, actually on the oxide, it's called Lumberjack Plaid, and it's not a colour I would have initially put with this collection by Simple Stories, but because I'm using a brush and I'm using it quite softly, it actually stands off the dark pink. I did have a try off camera at some of the other colours, and I just couldn't find one that I thought was going to pop enough. I just want it to be there but not there. Now, I'm not the best mixed media artist, but I do love a bit of stenciling or anything you can control, really. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to come back. I've left the stencil at the top there because I'm possibly going to add a little bit more as I build up the clusters. So I'm just starting to get this one into position, adding a bit of double-sided tape. So I've got a few good layers there using some of those big die cuts. Really like that pen. I think that fits quite nicely and adds a slightly another different shade of pink. So I'm definitely going to get that tag into place and that typewriter, and I've got a bit of foam on the back of that because I do like a bit of definition and height in the layouts that I make. But I think that cluster there hanging off that page will be good. I was going to add a couple of layers underneath it there as well. What I haven't talked about yet is the photo that I've picked. So I picked a picture of myself and my husband that was taken in 2017. The dress I'm wearing is actually green, and it's quite a bright green, but I do think it pops quite nicely off the pink. So I think that will really work. And so I need to be aware of some of the green elements as I move forward, because there are a few in this collection that would work with it. So I'm now deciding that I want to add a little bit more to the background. This is what comes when you're not a confident mixed media artist, I think. But this is just like a text stamp. You can't really read the words. That's I think it's a black that I've got there. It'll be a Distress Oxide. They always are that I use. And I'm just adding a little bit more on top, just maybe in verticals behind the 2 clusters, just to go over the top of the stenciling. You'll see it in the close-ups at the end, but it's actually very pale, but it just adds a little bit more, I feel. As you can see, there's no acrylic block because I don't want any harsh lines. I just want a little bit of that text to show. So I'm now looking at the cluster a little bit more on the left, building more layers in there, adding some foam pads in between as well. I've made 4 or 5 layouts from this collection so far already. So the fact that I'm layering it and I'm not taking many pieces apart or saving any bits, I'm quite chilled with. There is this book piece there. I want to use that twice. So I'm going to tuck the books in and then I'm going to use the flowers elsewhere. But generally, most of the pieces I've used whole because I'm actually trying to use it up rather than add smaller bits to back into the packet. I always find when I make a layout that's got clusters, whether it's 2 or 3, I always prefer some clusters to others. So the one on the right, I'm really happy with the way it looks. Place for my journaling next to the pen. This one on the left, giving me a little bit of jip at the moment. There's a fine word there that says forever, and I really wanted to use it on this. Cannot get it to work. But because I also like that chipboard wax seal stamp, and I think that could work really well down the side of the photograph. So I'm just having a bit of a play here, deciding what I can get to work, checking out what else is there, what else I could use as an alternative. Thinking titles mainly, but maybe some of just of the word pieces, because I do have the happy ever after on the right hand side. So I'm just seeing how it goes, but I just feel it's a little bit, that cluster's still a bit straight around the edge of the bottom edge of the photograph. So I will think about bringing some more bits in. Also, I kept the stencil to one side and I knew I'd use it again. I just wanted to soften up before above and below the clusters. Just a couple of hearts here and there, not to overpower the background, but just to actually soften the edges, because I did do very much a horizontal banner of them. So I think that now I've got a good idea where everything is, I can add a few more in, and I might as well do that before I get everything washed up. So I never do that halfway through a layout. I always wait till the end, because knowing me, I'm going to come back in. Because generally, if you do a lot of mixed media, quite often you find that you cover a lot of it up with your layout, so it seems such a shame. So adding a few extra hearts is no big deal, and yeah, definitely feel it softens it. So I'm actually sticking things down, and we're like, hooray, finally, get out that double-sided tape, Sheena, because it takes me a while if you've watched me before, but kind of all part of my process. So this is just some watered down black acrylic paint. I've got it on acrylic block there just because it's easier to clean up, and I don't like loads of mess. So I've just got a very fine paintbrush, so therefore I'm getting some very fine dots, and I'm doing those above and below the clusters and a couple of bits in the middle. Just brought in a couple of bits of scrap to cover the journaling spot and the photograph, because I want to save those from getting paint on them. So there's all the dimension and the finished layout. Thank you so much for watching. Have a look at the close-ups and you'll see the stenciling and the stamping a little better. And hop around the rest of the team. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you fancy, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.